If you ever wished for your edits to look like they were shot on real film, Dehancer might be the plugin that you were looking for. What's up guys, welcome back. I'm Elvis, London-based filmmaker, and today we'll be looking at a Dehancer plugin. This is the plugin that makes your footage look like it was shot on the real film. This plugin has plenty of interesting features. The most popular ones would be halation, bloom, red glow, however you want to call it. This plugin also provides a proper grain onto your footage, and it's not like a slapped overlay, it's an actual grain that reacts with what's happening on screen. If you are interested in that look, stick around because today we'll be reviewing Dehancer plugin. Kind people from Dehancer reached out to me and they asked me if I wanted to try their plugin, so they did provide it. However, this is an unpaid review and all the thoughts are my own and nothing was scripted. So Dehancer has quite a few options for you to choose from. There are individual photo and video, business, production class licensing levels. If you want to check it out, I will leave the link in the description, and also if you use the code ElvisCreative, you will be getting extra 10% off of your purchase. Now let's dive into the Dehancer. Let's go to Premiere Pro. Also, I want to quickly mention that Dehancer is available with Final Cut Pro, with DaVinci Resolve, with Premiere Pro, After Effects, all the main video editing platforms that we love and use on a daily basis. I'll be checking it out on Premiere Pro. Let's dive into it and let's see what type of look we can achieve. I have 4 clips ready to try out on the spot. 2 of those clips are shot with Lumix S1 Mark II, so it's a vlog, and the other one is shot with FX3, so it's a S-Log 3, Cine Gamut 3, that log profile. Let's put the very first clip into the timeline, and we'll be using a Lumix shot, which was shot on 6K open gate, but we have a 4K 16:9 ratio sequence, so we will just minimize it a little bit and reframe it quickly. So it's a very simple shot of me cleaning my filter that's attached to my phone. So how would I go about using Dehancer? First of all, what we're gonna do with we need to find the vlog, and we need to use vlog to Rec 709 conversion LUT for this clip. We have one here. Then we will quickly fix some of the, maybe bring up some shadows, increase some contrast. We'll do some quick adjustments that will give you some kind of understanding. And we might want to use one of our LUTs. We add one more lumetri color and we go to Cityscape LUTs. Let's use one of ours, Urban Blue, my favorite LUT. Let's use this quickly and adjust some more settings. And there we go. We have just a basic, simple look, quick edit, just Rec 709 LUT with my own Cityscape Urban Blue LUT and few adjustments. So we have the look. Now we want to include the Dehancer. We go to effects, we type Dehancer, we find it. And as you can see, there is already some kind of a look added to our video, and that's one thing I would criticize Dehancer for doing it. I understand why you guys do it. You want to show that the effect was applied and that the effect is on the clip now. However, I would like you to give us a blank slate and then we just adjust everything ourselves, because what I do, I just go to effect controls, I find the Dehancer, I uncheck the markings that already are, that I uncheck everything that's enabled, and then I go by and create my own look from zero. So let's say we want to make this clip a little bit dreamy, a little bit old film look, but not too much. We don't want to stretch it too much. We don't want to make it look like it's very old age, because the camera is great that was filmed on. So we need to be cautious with how much of an old film look we're trying to achieve. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go to film grain section, and we'll check out which grain we want to do. So 8mm is a very harsh grain, 16 is pretty decent, 35 is pretty minimal grain, but it's pretty nice. Then 65 is almost invisible. So I think we're gonna go to 16mm 16 millimeters, 50 ISO. I think that looks most natural. So we have some grain, and one good thing about the grain in Dehancer is that the grain doesn't just slap an overlay on top of your video and that's how you achieve the look. It actually reacts with your footage, and the grain reacts with the information, which is amazing and very useful and gives you way more natural look than you would just be slapping some kind of an overlay grain effect. Now, what else does the film look has? It's most likely halation or bloom. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the halation is a red blur on highlights, as you can see here in this example, and then the actual bloom is when the highlights get blown out and you get that dreamy feeling. So if I show you, if we put something like 8 millimeters, you can see how less saturated, less sharp the image gets around the highlight areas. So these two effects, they are very, very well known and people love to use them. They love to abuse them as well. That's why I don't always go with the film looks. However, I do really like them, so sometimes I might abuse it myself. But yeah, if we enable a 16 millimeter bloom, that will give us softer tissue basically, because that's the only really highlighted part apart my small bracelet, but that's not gonna affect too much. And then we'll add some halation as well, because we're going full film, so why not? And yeah, that's how the first clip looks. Now if you wanna compare them with only 3 effects, you get something like this. So it's a very subtle but very nice quality film effect with only 3 settings changed, to be honest. So there are still a lot that you can adjust in Dehancer. So folks, my monitor just started glitching like a mother. I understand what's happening. Just turning off and on, and now it's off. We're gonna finish this without the monitor. So we can go into film damage, another setting in Dehancer. If you add this, you can see these like strings on top of the look, on top of your video, and if you play it, they will jump all around the screen. So again, a very useful overlay that a lot of people use. That's literally already in the settings, you just need to enable it. Then you have film breathing, another setting that when you enable it, it starts kind of changing the contrast, the saturation of your image. Film breathing basically means that the layers are changing, and you can, there's some kind of like a little bit of like a glitchy effect, strobes, very small exposure strobe lighting happening. So that's when the papers change, which means film breathing. Then you also have a gate weave, another section. This is a great effect. It simulates the actual film movement as if it was on the film roll. It's pretty cool looking effect, and it can be very useful. So it's definitely a very nice touch that they have this. And you can then imagine start stacking all these effects and creating the actual film look. You have all the tools. Now it's literally just your creativity. Then we have a lot of frames, and this is a great one as well, because a lot of people use these frames on social media. These frames are very popular. So we have all different type of frames that will adjust your image automatically with the frame. So as you can see, if I choose Super 8mm, it will move my footage a little bit and will keep the center in the center of the actual viewable screen, excluding the frames. And you have different type of frames, and they move as well. They glitch, they change color on the corners, as you can see. So you get all this choice in a plugin. So you also have monitor section where you can turn the false color and see what's too dark, what's too bright maybe. It's pretty useful when you want to perfect the image, but I never use it myself. So let's drop a different type of image. Let's drop the same vlog image. Let's see how this clip looks. It's a very random clip that I chose. So I want to move all the adjustments that we did on the clip 1. So I just copy, paste attributes. So Dehancer and Lumetri colors all switch to here. And what I'm gonna do now, when I do something like this, I minimize the dehancer. So I turn off the dehancer and then I go into lumetri color, because that will need to change. We need to increase some shadows, we need to minimize some highlights because it's a different clip shot on a different lighting. So all the settings are not going to look the same. So I disable the plugin that is not confusing me on the actual look of the video. And then when I finish with the lumetri look, I go back and I turn on the dehancer and see how it's changed, if I like the look, if it works with the previous clip. And as you can see, it's a little bit too bright maybe. So if I think that it's too bright with the dehancer on top, maybe I'll go back to the lumetri color and change some more settings until I'm happy. And yeah, that's a pretty cool film look, and I really like the halation. Halation is not strong at all. It's very subtle, but it looks great. It attaches itself very well into the clip. I really like how it makes the footage look. But it's not an effect that you need to overuse it, because people overused it already, so be careful when you're doing halations and blooms. It needs to look good. It needs to look good. And now let's take a Sony FX3 shot that we have from one of the car meets, and let's quickly change that and let's see what we can get with this shot. We want to make it look old film, so we're gonna go with a bit of a washed out color look. So as you can see, the greens are not greens, they're more blues. As you can see, it's vignetting on the side pretty heavily because we're decreasing the shadow. So we're gonna go with a very trashy film, old film look here. And I think I'm pretty happy with how it looks at the moment. Let's put our dehancer into the video. Then again, uncheck everything that was checked with the dehancer automatically. And let's start play with the film grain maybe then. Okay, this is a massive grain. We probably want 16 millimeter. And let's get the film damage. And let's put like 8 millimeters, so it should be pretty constant. Yeah, as you can see, it's all over the place. We'll do some film breathing. Yes, sir. Let's go nuts. Let's put all the effects and let's see how it looks. So we'll increase some of the vignetting because we're really focusing into the center. And the sides are not as important. So this clip has no bloom or no halation, but it has all other effects combined together. And that's what you get when you add Dehancer and the effects. The clip looks pretty cool. It looks proper old school, and the actual effect quality is very, very high. It works very well with the clip. It attaches to the clip pretty incredibly. It reacts with the actual changes on the screen, which is great. All the color shifts and everything. It just looks crazy good. Let's add another clip from the same car meet. And that's what we have. That's a very clean film look that took us less than 5 minutes to create. So it's a pretty well done to Dehancer. It's a great tool for Premiere Pro. The only thing that I noticed, all of a sudden, since I installed the Dehancer, my Premiere Pro starts crashing every so often, even if you don't use the Dehancer. And that's the only change that happened in my Premiere Pro. So I don't know if that's related. It most likely is, but plugins always crash your software. You know that if you're a Premiere Pro user. I do not understand why we use these apps, but I just love Premiere and I don't want to move to anything else. So the Dehancer works very well. It's a great film look plugin, and I would recommend it to everyone who's constantly trying to achieve film looks. Then it's definitely for you. And the monthly subscription or yearly purchases, they're worth it then. But if you are someone who only uses film looks every so often and isn't really bothered about them, or don't even have many scenarios where they need to use it, then this paying monthly subscription might not be for you. However, if you are the user, money-wise, I do believe that it is worth it because the effects are extremely high quality. Every effect that you attach to the actual clip looks very good. It's not overlays. I mean, it probably is. I don't know how the plugins work. I'm not great with it. However, I understand how it looks. I see how it looks. And when you add overlays of the damaged film of the film grain, it looks alright, but it doesn't look good. This actually looks good. So I'm pretty pleased with the result, and I'll definitely want to try using Dehancer even more. I already have few ideas. My cousin is visiting back from Lithuania for the full week, so we'll be shooting a lot of YouTube videos around London. So we'll be putting Dehancer into test. We'll be putting iPhone 17 Pro into test. It's definitely worth sticking around and watching this channel because I have some great content coming soon to you guys. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about Dehancer? In your opinion, is it worth it? And if it's worth it and you actually want to purchase it, click the link in the description and use my promo code Elvis Creative for additional 10% off of the purchase. It's been your boy Elvis Creative. I appreciate you watching the video, and I will see you most likely next week, probably Wednesday, most likely 5 p.m. not sharp. Peace.
Can you put it on the line when the stakes high? Will you let up on the grind when the stakes high? Do you still put in the time when the stakes high?